what I like more about Fendt than John Deere. I'm not going to compare this tractor to the ones we got rid of, because that's 10 years difference. What I'll do is I'll compare this to the demo we had. What I preferred was, the screen layout. I found this more simple to drive, surprisingly. I know a lot of people say that, will argue with me, but this is personal preference, don't have a go at me for it. Yeah, I just found the screen was a lot easier to use. Everything was just a little bit more refined. You didn't have the little jolts. It's a lot smoother. And the Vario is brilliant. I mean, you can have your PTO on flat out, and on the John Deere you set your speed on a scroller, and that's how you do it. You can't use your accelerator because that does revs as well. So you set, with this, I mean, you set your speed going, your revs and your PTO, and it'll rev it up. And like here, I can literally just touch it and I can control all of the speed on my foot throttle if I want, or on my hand throttle. I don't have to be going, you know, the speed on that little scroller. Other than that, they are, you know, both good tractors. A lot of people use them. So I'm not gonna slate John Deere, because, you know, they are good tractors. What do I think about tracked machines? Like I said in the comment to that one, I said there's definitely a time and place for them. Tracks, if you could have them, brilliant. They are good because they stop soil compaction. You know, you don't get stuck as easily, but, you know, going down the road's a bit harder. You know, your tracks, if they fall off, it's a bit of a hassle getting them back on. I don't know if it does it too much on tractors, because we don't have them. I know on the slough and things, the tracks come off, and it's a right ball ache to get them back on. But yeah, no, they're good for the right people. Like here, on this little like 9-acre field, not really much point in us on a great big tracked vehicle like Case Quad Track, or, you know, the John Deere 9R whatever RX. You know, these bloody great big tractors on a little farm like this doesn't really make sense. But if you do have sort of, you know, upwards of 5-10,000 acres, and you're wanting to pull a great big 30-foot wide cultivator behind it, you know, a tractor like this isn't going to do it. You're going to have your big track machines. So yeah, there's definitely a time and place for the tracked machines, but here it's just not suitable for us. Yeah. What made me start YouTube? I watch YouTube videos quite regularly, actually. I'd like to, you know, see what other people's farms are like, see what they're doing, see if I can put them onto our farm, implement things, make it better. I also, for college, I'm doing an apprenticeship at the moment in agriculture, and they need evidence. And instead of Dad always being there signing papers and things, I thought, you know, I could get a GoPro, stick it on my head, evidence is there, it's on film, you know, this is me, I'm doing it, and they can mark that. And then I sort of had the idea of watching other people doing their YouTube. I thought, why not, let's bring it on YouTube. And then sort of the channel sort of took off a little bit. A little bit of a background of the farm. This farm, well, my family has been farming for God knows how long, quite a few generations of farms. We didn't have this farm the whole time. We were down the road in Marston House, down Friggle Street, and then we moved up here. Well, we didn't, Granny and Grandad did, and then Dad came along here, and then obviously I was born and I came here, so we've sort of had 3 generations of farm on this farm right now. So yeah, we've always had a dairy farm. We originally, when we were milking, 50 cows, and at that time I was a huge farm, 50 cows, but 50, 60 years ago, that was a big farm. Now we've got 180 milking. We'd like to expand, but with the milk price as it is, we're sort of a bit stuck really. We've had to expand our silage pits obviously, because we've been growing lots of grass for our cows and trying to feed them up so they give higher yields, which means we don't have to buy more cattle in. We're just trying to meet the demands of the supplier. Are you waking up, mate? But it's a bit of a tough time at the moment. I know people are, they're not lasting in the dairy industry. Quite a few farms are shutting down, and well, they aren't shutting down as farms, because what they'll do is they'll most likely give up milking and then go into growing crops or doing a bit of beef or something, which has a sort of a countering effect of these dairy farmers here, there and everywhere. They give up, go into beef. Now you have a mass supply of beef industry collapses, doesn't it? So at the moment farming is not exactly a happy hunky-dory millionaires with their tractors at the moment. But yeah, that was sort of a little bit of a background. I don't know a huge amount into it. I can always ask Dad to have a talk through it with me, and I can tell you guys. I have a few questions from someone called Farmer Lawson. Am I interested in taking over the farm from Dad? Yes, but Dad has to take over from Grandad yet, so I've got a bit of time wait until I run the farm, I think. We run this as a family. I mean, they do ask me for my advice and what I think we should do. Run out of battery. What I think we should do with the farm, like where the silage pits would go. I had a big input with that, saying that. I had input with what tractors to buy, because I was sort of the one driving them. They were asking me which ones I preferred. We also had to go through Dad, and then we asked Andy and Tom, who work on our farm, what they thought. I mean, they're happy in whatever we really give them. They don't generally make a fuss about things. The one thing they did make a fuss about was the dung spreader, and too right, they needed to make a fuss about that. Our old dung spreader, it got to the point where it rusted through at the front, so you filled it up and there was a great big hole in the front, and you fill it up and it would just pour right onto the tractor. So they sort of complained a bit about that, and that was about the point where Dad went, yeah, solid, we'll get another one. That's why we had to buy another dung spreader. But yeah, that's quite a few of those questions rattled off quite quickly. My phone's just run out of battery. Get that charging. But yeah, it's going alright. We've finished the concreting of the floor of the both silage pits. We've just got the plinth to do now. That might not make sense depending on what order the videos come out in that I do.